Central America, where ancient ruins rise from trackless rainforest, and the land beneath stirs uneasily. The region's wild places harbor an abundance of lethal creatures. They plunge from the tree canopy or rise from the ocean depths, stalking with stealth and cunning, and killing with toxic weaponry and brute force. Come face to face with Central America's deadliest animals. Central America packs a range of geography and habitat into its small size. It is a bridge of land squeezed between oceans and linking two vast continents. 170,000 square kilometers, over a third of the region, remains covered by dense tropical rainforest. Hiding in the darkness are some of Earth's deadliest creatures. Some are built for defense and advertise their lethal nature. Others are unseen and unheard, striking from the shadows. Including one of the deadliest snakes in the Americas, Bothrops asper, often called the terciopelo. Its very name can strike fear into the heart of a farm worker, and with good reason. When startled, it doesn't hide or flee. It pulls its 1.5-meter body into a defensive coil and faces the threat head-on. Its fangs pierce the skin and inject a destructive venom. It's both hemotoxic and cytotoxic. The mixture destroys both blood and tissue cells. Flesh around the wound soon begins to die, causing agonizing pain. As the venom spreads through the bloodstream, it begins ravaging internal organs, causing hemorrhaging and shock. Without medical attention, heart and kidneys fail. Death soon follows. The Central American country of Costa Rica records an average of 700 snake bites a year. 1 in 70 is fatal. Terciopelo is responsible for half of these bites and most of the deaths. But the serpent's real target is the rodents that plague farms and villages. Terciopelo stalks them anywhere within its range, from southeastern Mexico through most of Central America and into South America. Between its nose and its eyes sits another of its potent weapons, heat-detecting pits. These sensors home in on the body heat of potential prey. They're so sensitive they can determine the distance and direction of the heat source, enabling the snake to lock onto its target. The terciopelo then releases its flailing prey to avoid injury. Minutes later, it consumes its meal whole, capitalizing on a skill common to all snakes: the ability to dislocate its jaw and swallow prey bigger than its own head. A bone called the quadrate makes this flexibility possible by operating like a double-jointed hinge. The left and right sides of the lower jaw are connected by muscle, not bone, allowing them to separate. After the meal, a stretch of the jaw realigns bone and muscle. Soon, the viper returns to patrol the farmland. A terciopelo can appear in a flash. But another jungle hunter is legendary for its ability to vanish. South American natives give it the name killer that takes prey in a single bound. The jaguar. A lethal blend of grace and power. It is the third largest cat in the world, smaller only than the tiger and the African lion. Full-grown males can reach over 100 kilograms. The jaguar patrols the jungle in search of big game, using its sharp vision. Its eyes are equipped with elliptical pupils that adjust faster than round ones in the dim forest light. A mirror-like layer called the tapetum lucidum reflects light back into the retina, nearly doubling the cat's ability to see. A peccary would make a sizable meal, but they're surprisingly fleet and agile. Despite its size, the jaguar is not built for speed or endurance. But it is a master of stealth. Its spotted coat provides the perfect camouflage in the dappled light, allowing the cat to strike without warning. It attacks with one powerful lunge. Not even a turtle is safe. The jaguar possesses the most powerful jaws of any cat, easily cracking the rock-hard shell to savor the spoils. Local legend also tells of this hunter's taste for human flesh. Forest villagers recount being followed for hours by a shadowy presence. But it's likely the territorial cats were guarding their domain rather than stalking. There's no record of a jaguar preying upon a human in Central America. Human encounters with this endangered animal are rare. But crossing paths with another of the forest's deadly creatures happens more frequently, and it's hard to recognize danger when it comes in such a pretty package. The poison dart frog. Their bright colors can attract our curiosity, but they are warnings best heeded. These jewel-like amphibians carry a dose of deadly toxins. But this tiny predator hunts nothing larger than insects. Its powerful weapon is reserved for anything that tries to prey on it. Any animal that eats this bite-sized morsel is flirting with suicide. Once ingested, the frog's toxins cause the victim's brain to fire rapid and unorganized nerve signals, paralyzing the heart and lungs. A wound in the predator's mouth or stomach invites the toxins to flow directly into the bloodstream, with fatal results. But the frogs don't actually produce the toxins themselves. They steal their chemical compounds from their prey. Insects and tiny mites produce them as a defense. But instead of succumbing, the frogs store the compounds and secrete them through glands in their skin. But not all poison dart frogs are equally dangerous. They're abundant throughout the forests of Central and South America, but frogs from different regions have different diets and therefore possess different levels of toxicity. The strawberry poison dart frog from Costa Rica would definitely make a predator sick, while northern Colombia's golden poison dart frog secretes enough toxins to kill 100 grown men. Predators and savvy humans learn to avoid any brightly coloured frog. It's the only way to be sure. Whether hunting or defending, these creatures' lethal skills guarantee their survival in the rainforest. But one group of animals thrives in all Central America's habitats. From the mountains to the sea, among its ranks are some of the deadliest animals in all of Central America. Central America boasts tall volcanic peaks, steaming jungle, and warm tropical seas. For every region, there's a venomous snake that thrives there. And sometimes, the smallest can be the toughest. An amateur botanist has his eyes tuned to local flora, overlooking a small ribbon of brown among the roots of a strangler fig. In a flash, it strikes, stunning the intruder with a rush of agonizing pain. It's the jumping viper, only half a meter long, but muscle-bound and nimble. Able to propel itself forward into a defensive strike, reaching over half its body length. The snake's athletic ability balances out its small size. When defending against danger, or when hunting. Jumping vipers stalk their prey in rainforests from southern Mexico to Panama. With watchful eyes, they wait among leaf litter and hollow logs. But a foraging mouse has evolved an array of defensive tricks as well. Its ultra-high frequency hearing can detect a predator's approach before it gets too close. But the jumping viper lies completely still until it unleashes its powerful strike. And that's just the first surprise. When this snake bites, it usually doesn't let go. Relative to other vipers, its fangs are short and its venom weak. Seizing its prey, it rocks its fang to warn its potential victims. A serpent with a familiar design. In Nicaragua, it's called the chill for the sound it makes. Costa Ricans call it the cascabel after a dried chili pepper with rattling seeds and an intense burn. The cascabel is one of only a few tropical rattlesnakes, holding a small territory from southern Mexico through Costa Rica. Like other rattlers, it's armed with sharp fangs and noxious venom. But venom is expensive to produce, costing energy, requiring food. The unmistakable rattle offers up a warning to would-be attackers, possibly averting a confrontation and conserving precious venom. But sometimes the threat comes too close for a warning. Then it strikes. This is where a cascabel differs from other rattlesnakes. Its bite is like a game of Russian roulette. It may be unpleasant, or it may be lethal. That all depends on the snake's age. The first symptom is searing pain, as hemotoxic venom begins destroying the victim's blood and skin. If this were an adult snake, the effects would end there. But this cascabel is a juvenile. Its venom has extra ingredients that bring extra agony. Myotoxins wrench the muscles into paralyzing cramps. And neurotoxins similar to those found in cobra venom cause labored breathing and death from respiratory failure. Why juvenile cascabels are so much deadlier than adults is a mystery. They both take down prey with the same efficiency, assuming an S-shaped posture for a sideways strike. Hollow fangs swivel into position like switchblades to pierce the skin and inject venom. A well-placed strike is always fatal. But more potent venom might enable a young snake to make a kill on an inaccurate bite. Or it could be an extra defense, compensating for a juvenile's small and quiet rattle, a less than effective deterrent. As the snake grows, its rattle gets longer. As its warning system improves, it has less need of its venom for defense. When it comes to snakes, leaving the forest doesn't mean you're out of the woods. One of the region's most venomous serpents can strike where it's least expected. The yellow-bellied sea snake. This swimming serpent stalks, strikes, and swallows its prey just like its land-bound relative, the Asiatic cobra. And it's armed with equally potent venom. About 4 million years ago, this snake's ancestors left the land behind and took to the sea, spreading eastward across the Pacific Ocean to the Central American coast. They became superbly adapted to thrive and hunt in salt water. Although it must still breathe air like a land snake, it doesn't need to as much. Its skin is rich in blood vessels that then it swallows it head first to avoid being injured by spiny fins. Although its venom is also a potent defense, its yellow and black colors appear to warn off most predators. It seldom reacts defensively, even when humans drop into its environment. When caught up in a fisherman's net, a yellow belly will panic and bite. Drop for drop, its venom is deadlier than a cobra's. But its single bite only injects about 1/6 of what a cobra bite can. Still, it causes severe pain and paralysis. Whatever its limitations, the yellow belly's skill as a hunter and a survivor have enabled it to prosper, becoming one of the most widespread snakes on Earth. Venomous snakes can turn up anywhere and everywhere humans venture, even the open ocean. But the waters of Central America harbor creatures far deadlier to humans. And later, a fisherman dives headfirst into murky waters and into the jaws of Central America's deadliest. The countries that make up Central America share over 6,500 kilometers of coastline. And just beyond the safety of the shore lurk some of the world's deadliest creatures. One leaves an indelible impression on our minds. Hammerhead red-eyed sharks prove that danger can strike in the shallows. But one of the deadliest creatures in these waters never leaves the surface. It's a proficient hunter and a tenacious survivor. Yet it has no brain, no heart, no blood, and no means of locomotion beyond the winds and currents that carry it across the sea. It is the Portuguese man-o-war, and it has one formidable asset: thousands of stinging tentacles that unleash a venomous fire on prey and enemies. Portuguese man-o-wars float in waters off both Central American coasts, in the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea. They are not jellyfish. In fact, they're not even a single organism. They consist of 4 separate animal colonies called polyps. Each group of polyps fulfills a specific role: the float, digestive system, reproductive system, and the tentacles. They dangle beneath the float, sometimes reaching 30 meters below the surface, hanging like a deadly web in the path of fish and other sea creatures. And these weapons do not discriminate. They reflexively attack prey, predator and innocent swimmer with equal indifference. The tentacles contain stinging cells called nematocysts, like coiled spring-loaded harpoons. Thousands of tiny barbs lodge in the skin of the victim, each injecting a dose of highly complex venom. The cocktail includes neurotoxins that block nerve signals and cause paralysis, and cardiotoxins, chemicals specifically tailored to weaken the heart and suppress blood flow. The man-o-war mixes around 10 more toxins into this brew. Anything that can't break free counts as prey and is consumed. The tentacles contract and drag the meal upward into the man-o-war's digestive system. Anything that escapes, like us, is left in agony. First comes instant blinding pain, then fiery welts appear. Shock, irregular heart rate, and painful breathing soon follow. This deadly drifter has killed at least 3 people. But in most cases, the only long-term effect is a painful memory. Far below, in the cold black depths of the Pacific, lives a creature far more clever and deliberate. The squid's behavior does little to allay such fears. Lightning-fast tentacles, armed with barbed suckers, hook the flesh of prey and draw it towards the waiting mouth. 3 sea creatures match their lethal nature with a terrifying appearance, giving us good reason to fear the black depths. But in Central America, danger not only comes from below, it also comes from above. In the dense forests of Central America, danger doesn't always stay at ground level. Another world exists in the treetops, where hungry eyes watch from above. Central America's lowlands grow much of the world's tropical nuts and fruit. But plantation work has a hidden risk. A predator has adopted these trees as its home and hunting ground. And intruders are unwelcome. A flash of bright color heralds a wave of pain. deadly defense of the eyelash palm pit viper. This half-meter serpent hangs in the branches, surprising its victims from above. It delivers roughly a fifth of all venomous bites in the region. As darkness washes over the forest, the patient hunter waits in ambush. A fruit-eating bat promises a bountiful meal, enough to satisfy the snake for several weeks. The bat's sophisticated echolocation usually detects motion. This noxious bite serves it equally well against all threats, whether predators or unwary humans. Hemotoxins in the venom literally dissolve tissue and blood cells at the site of the wound. Mild toxins kill muscle cells, stopping the heart or crippling the diaphragm to halt breathing. The eyelash palm pit viper's venom is a formidable defense. But even this deadly serpent must beware of another fearsome predator watching from above. Early travelers to Central and South America were struck by an awesome sight. Enormous eagles that plunged from the treetops to seize large animals. Powerful enough, they feared, to pluck children from the earth and carry them away. They named these winged beasts harpies, after a legendary man-eating monster. Such fears have their foundation in reality. Silent wings and savage talons strike from above on prey as large as the eagle itself. Harpy eagles patrol the rainforest treetops throughout Central and South America, scanning below for monkeys, opossum, and other tree dwellers. A three-toed sloth's climbing ability keeps it far above most predators, and remaining still avoids attracting attention. But neither defense serves it against the harpy eagle. The raptor is equipped with more precise long-distance vision than a human, able to pinpoint a 2-centimeter object at a distance of 180 meters. It plunges into an 80-kilometer-per-hour dive, seizing the sloth with talons as long as the claws of a grizzly bear. A well-placed attack can pierce the skull. The eagle's wings span over 2 meters. So powerful that this 9-kilogram bird can lift its own weight in prey. Despite local myth, this powerful hunter poses no threat to humans. But for the animals of the rainforest, the harpy rules the skies, a constant threat from above. The creatures flourishing in the treetops blend killer instinct with awesome beauty. But in Central America, one animal stands more fearsome and more feared than all others.
Él estaba en el remolino.
He was in the whirlpool, 5 meters deep.
Cuando yo pasé por encima de la cabeza
When I swam over his head, he hit me in the abdomen.
Central America packs an array of deadly predators into one small area. But here, one creature looms above all others, dominating with size and power, and the ability to consume nearly anything within reach of its jaws.
Él cerró la quijada y me
He
agarró
closed
del
his
brazo.
mouth and grabbed me by the side.
Y él me sacudió 3 veces como un trapo.
He shook me 3 times, like a rag.
The American crocodile. This massive reptile patrols its watery domain for fish. And thirsty mammals. A swipe of its powerful tail launches its 5-meter, half-ton frame directly onto its prey. What it can't swallow whole, it grips with 68 conical teeth, then rips to shreds by violently thrashing. The American croc stakes out its territory from the tip of Florida through Central America, the Caribbean, and south to Venezuela. Crocodiles prefer brackish waters near the coast, or inland freshwater pools and streams. The very places people like to settle. Today, a rapidly increasing human population puts people and crocs on a collision course. In the small country of Costa Rica, crocodiles kill 1 person every year. Statistics in other Central American countries are likely similar, but incidents often go unreported. Some croc attacks appear to be predatory. Others are cases of self-defense. But when a crocodile bears down on you, such details matter little. A young Costa Rican named Walner Bustos and his friend found this out on a hot afternoon in April.
Todos los años yo tenía esa costumbre.
All of these years I've had the tradition during Easter week in the month of April when you go to fish.
Walner knows that crocodiles have been spotted in these pools, but the animals usually flee when humans arrive. As Walner and his friend begin fishing in the stream, they have no way of knowing what hides beneath the surface.
Yo no lo pude observar porque el río.
I couldn't see him because the river brings sand, so the visibility was very bad.
When his friend's fishing line becomes snagged, Walner plunges into the water to free it, diving directly into the jaws of a 3-meter crocodile. The huge reptile lunges forward. Its cone-shaped teeth dig into Walner's chest.
Él me golpeó de lado.
He turned me over on my side, lifting me up about half a meter.
The crocodile attempts to spin Walner into a death roll, violently corkscrewing its body in the water. A maneuver intended to drown or dismember its victim. But the animal loses its grip, only to lunge again.
Cuando yo observé
When I
el
saw the
animal,
animal coming in for the second attack, he came straight for my head.
The crocodile's jaws close with 1,300 kilograms of force. One bite to Walner's head could easily crush his skull. Instinctively, the desperate man strikes out at the reptile.
Yo le metí la mano para evitar el ataque a mi cabeza.
I stuck my hand in his mouth to block the attack towards my head. He bit my arm, sticking a tooth in, and then he grabbed me here, sticking me with these teeth, making these wounds.
Él sacudió para intentar matarme, tal vez, pero la piel
He shook me, maybe to try to kill me, but my skin tore, and then I went up to the surface, and the animal didn't come after me.
The crocodile's teeth have torn his arm and torso and punctured his lung. As his friend runs for help, Walner struggles for his every breath. Luckily, town and paramedics are less than a kilometer away. Still, it takes a week in intensive care to save his life. Today, Walner finds solace in the likelihood that this attack wasn't predatory.
que yo le pasé encima de la cabeza a él, ¿no? Entonces él me atacó.
I had passed right over his head, so he attacked me in defense because I scared him.
Mis compañeros quisieron buscarme a mí.
My friends wanted to find me to hunt the crocodile, but I told them no, because really, it's not the animal's fault.
Que realmente el animal no tiene culpa. Es verdad, nosotros nos
It's
gusta
true.
bañarnos en el
We
río.
like to bathe in the river, but we have to be careful. We know that they live there.
They are an elite group of 12, embodying all of nature's grandeur and power. They have thrived with a vast array of survival skills and defenses. They are Central America's deadliest animals.